Hey friends, welcome back. Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to learn about quick sort. In my previous videos, we have seen bubble sort, we have seen selection sort, which was having of n square complexity, and very recent video we have seen the merge sort, which was having of n log n complexity. Quick sort, which we are going to see today, has the same complexity, time complexity of n log n. Then what's the difference between merge sort and quick sort? Why quick sort? Because both are having same time complexity, which is of n log n. But the crucial difference between the merge sort and quick sort is the space allocation or space complexity. What does it mean? In merge sort, if you remember, we have used two extra arrays, left array and right array. So that was the extra space which we were allocating to solve for merge sort algorithm, right? But in quick sort, we are not going to allocate extra space or extra array, but we are going to do in place sorting. So we are not going to allocate any extra space. So that cause this quick sort much better over merge sort. So let's see the implementation.
Let's start. What's the main logic of quicksort? So I have mentioned here the main logic. We are going to define a pivot and all the smaller number we are going to push to the left side of the pivot and all the larger number we are going to push right side of the pivot. So what is pivot? Pivot is any arbitrary number. It can be first number of the array, it can be second number, it can be last, it can be middle, or it can be anything. It could be any number in the array. Just for our logic, we are going to define the pivot as a last number. So don't worry about what pivot, that we are not going to into that depth how to select pivot. They have few scenarios or they have few steps or logic, I would say, to define the pivot, but we are not going into that. It depends on whether array is already sorted or descending order or what. But if array is I mean not that ordered, then you can consider pivot as the last number. So for time being, let's consider pivot is the last number of this array. Then what is our main logic? We are now going to push the small numbers to the left side of the pivot and large number to the right side of the pivot. So how we are going to do this? So if you want to implement a quick sort, you just remember this three step. Ideally, quicksort implementation is quite messy or quite complex, but I have made it very simple. I tried my best to explain the same. So just make sure you follow or remember these three steps and you will get the sorted array. So what is our first step? Define the pivot and boundary. I already explained the pivot. It's any arbitrary number. So we define the pivot as the last number. Now what is boundary? As our main logic is, we are going to sort the array in such a way where small numbers lies to the left of the pivot and large number going to lies into the right side of the pivot. So we need boundary, right, to define the left side and right side. So for now, we are considering left side is completely empty and the boundary is at -1 index. And all the array from 0 index to end index, I mean the end, will be the right side. And this is the pivot. Don't misconfuse yourself like this is the pivot and left side of all the element are the left partition. It's not true. Pivot has nothing to do with left partition and right partition. Pivot is isolated thing, isolated number. Now this is the pivot and entire this array from start to end will be the right partition and we have left partition empty. So that's why we have pointed boundary to the -1. Now we are going to push all the small element to the left partition, right? So how we are going to do this? The algorithm is pretty simple. We have to just scan the array, iterate the array like from start to end, and whatever item is less than the pivot, we have to push it. How? Then we increment the boundary and we just swipe two numbers. Swipe the item which the start cursor is there and the item at the boundary index. And after that, we were going to derive this array. So this is after first iteration. You can see 6, 3, 1, 10, and now pivot will go to here. So what we are doing, ideally we are defining the correct position of pivot. If you can see, this is the final array, and in the final array, pivot going to be here 13. This is the same position. So in each iteration, we are defining the correct position of the pivot, and after end of all iteration, you will get the sorted array. So again, we have to use all the recursion. I will come to this part later. So that's the logic. Uh, let's go step by step with our 3 steps. Okay, step 1, define pivot and boundary. We already defined the pivot at last index. Now let's define the boundary, which is nothing but the -1. We define this boundary. Now do the partition left side and right side. How? Iterate over the array. Now let's iterate over the array. So we need 2 pointers. One pointer which track the boundary, which we call it, let's say, B pointer, and one pointer we call it start pointer, which is at the 0 index, and we are going to scan. And now we are going to compare with the pivot, like, is this number at 0 index is less than pivot? What is pivot? 13. No, 15 is a greater, so we don't need to swap this number. Let's move to the next index. We go to the first index, 0 1. Is this number at first index is smaller than pivot? Pivot is 13. Yes, it is smaller. Then what we have to do? We have to increment the boundary by 1. So let's increment the boundary. We incremented the boundary. Now we have to swap two numbers, the number which is present at boundary and the number which is present at the start pointer. So let's swap these two numbers. So here it will be 6 and here it will be the 15. Cool. Now next step, let's move this cursor ahead. 3. Is this number smaller than pivot? Obviously 3 is smaller than 13. Okay, increment the boundary and let's swap these two numbers, 3 and 15. We swap 3 and now here 15. Cool. Now let's move ahead. 1. Is this number smaller than pivot? Yes, 1 is the smaller. Increment the boundary, swap these two numbers. So 1 will go here, 15 will go here. So you can see the logic is pretty same. Just increment the boundary, and if the number is smaller, just swap it. Increment the boundary. Is the 22 smaller than 13? Pivot? No. Move cursor ahead. 10. Is the 10 is smaller than the pivot? Yes. Then just move this pointer boundary and swipe these two numbers. So 10 will go here and 15 will go here. Cool. Now let's move it. Oh, we touched to the pivot. When we go at the end of the array, what we have to do? We have to just increment the boundary again and swipe pivot and boundary. 13 and 22. Cool. So this is what the first iteration we done. So what you can see, we derived the same array 6, 3, 1, 10, 13, 15, 22. So what we did, we fixed the position of the pivot, right? Now in next step, what is the pivot? The pivot is this 13 number. So now pivot moves here. You can see here pivot moved here at 13, and now what is the right partition? So whatever right to the pivots is the right partition, 15 and 22. What is the left partition? So this is the left partition, 6, 3, 1, 10. So this is what the first iteration. Now we got left partition, right partition, and this pivot. Cool. So again, we have to now sort this left partition. We have to now sort this right partition. How? The same thing. That's called the recursion. Now you can see here, like, this is the left array 6, 3, 1, 10, and this is the right array 15, 22. We don't worry about the pivot now. Pivot is already sorted, which is at this index. So only the unsorted array is this left array and unsorted array is this. By the way, this array is already sorted, so when we will apply our logic, it will not sort that array. Now we have to sort the left partition. Again, the logic is same. The last number will be the pivot, and the entire remaining array is the right partition, and the left partition is at the empty, which is at -1 index. And we are going to do the same thing. Now the boundary will be here, the start pointer will be here, and we will scan entire array, and whatever number which is less than pivot, now this time the pivot is at 10, we were going to swipe the numbers accordingly, and ultimately we will get this array. So that's easy. That is, I mean, you will see in implementation. Now, what is the complexity? So we have two complexity, time and space complexity, although we have best and worst case. So worst case is like array is already sorted and we define the pivot as the last index, then we have to do a partition of n time and of n partition. So n into n, it will be n square. But if array is not that sorted, then obviously we are going to do the partition of this entire array in logarithmic time, because if you see, like, when we divide the array into the right and left, some arrays are already been sorted, so the com and of n time we are going to do the partition, so n into log n, the time complexity is of log of n log n. Now you wonder about the space complexity. I already mentioned we are not using any extra space. Still, how this of n log n and of n complexity in best and worst case? The idea behind is, I mean, the reason behind this number of this complexity is the recursion. We are going to use recursion to solve this algorithm. I mean, to implement this algorithm in using recursion. So when we use recursion, the Java runtime always allocate some space to run the recursion at stack level. So that's the space which is consumed by the Java, I mean, by the recursion, and which is consumed by the Java runtime, given by the Java runtime. So that is of log n, because we are going to partition the array in a left and right partition in best case, but in worst case, if array is already sorted and pivot is last, we are going to sort each index of the array. So that will be the of n of the space complexity. Cool. That's it, guys. Hope you have understand. It's okay. We are going to implement the same algorithm with these three steps. Maybe you can understand more clear while implementation. So let's move to implementation. Let's create one method now. Okay. Public void quicksort. Now, what are the parameters? Obviously, we need integer array, and now you can see with this algorithm we need few more details, like we need pivot, we need right partition, left partition, or maybe the boundary, right? So we need few extra parameter, which is the start of the array and end of the array, to define the pivot and to define the boundary, because one boundary is going to be -1, that means start -1. So we need some extra parameters, so we call it like start and end. So start is nothing but the 0th index and end is nothing but the last index. Cool. Now let's implement. So while implementation, we are going to follow the same step. So first step, define pivot and boundary, right? So what is the pivot? Pivot is the last number. So array of last, which is nothing but the pivot. Sorry, array of end. Now boundary. What is boundary? So boundary will be the -1, that is start -1. Cool. Now we got the pivot, we got the boundary. Then what was the next logic? Now we have to do the partitioning. How? We have to we scan the array and we had compare like whether this number is smaller than the pivot. Then if it is, then we swap the two numbers, right? So that was the logic. So just implement the same thing. So take one for loop. Let's say I is equal to 0. Now instead of 0, we already have the start. So let's take start, and we should go to till the end, start and end. So we have to write array is less than or equal to, because why equal to? Because end is the last number, it's not an index, and I plus plus. And what was our logic? We have to just compare, like if array of I is less than or equal to pivot, then we have to swap the two numbers, the number which is at, we have to increment the boundary first. So let's increment the boundary first, boundary plus plus. and we have to swap the number at the boundary and the number at the I index. So we already written the swap method a couple of times in previous algorithm. So let's call the same method, which is already in this class here. You can see. If you don't know this method implementation, you can see my bubble sort video where we have implemented this swap method. Cool. So to this method, we are just passing three arguments. One is the array which we want to sort, I mean, which we want to perform the operation, and two indexes. So one index which is boundary, and the second index which is I. So we are going to swap these two numbers. Cool. So that's a simple code. I mean, for the partition. So remember one thing. So what we did, we just did the code for this first iteration. After this code, we are going to have this array. I mean, the pivot will be at the correct position, but entire array is not sorted yet. We have to call the same code recursively. And when we call the code recursively, we need that code wrap into the method. So that will be easy for recursion to just call this code again and again, right? So instead of writing code inside this main class, I mean main method of quicksort, let's copy all this code and put into the another method. So okay, cool. We will create another method called, maybe we can call partition. We put this code here, and to this method we will pass this all parameter int start int end. Cool. And just call this method from here. Same method partition. So pass the array, pass the int, and okay. The return type of this method is a int. Why? Because we need boundary back, because we are now incrementing the boundary here, and we are after this iteration we are incrementing the boundary, and we will get new boundary. So that boundary we will require to sort the left partition and right partition, right? So that's the reason. So we can call it int boundary is equal to, so this partition will return as a boundary. So just return the boundary, that's it. Cool. So now the partition is complete. So this will recursively call this code. So how it will call? I will show you. Sorry. Now, mm, we done with this second step. Like we did the partition. Now only third step is remaining. Recursively call the left array and right array. So what is the left array and what is the right array? You can see here, this is the left array. After the first iteration, our boundary went here, which was later we swapped with the pivot was 13. So boundary, I mean we incremented boundary, and this is the pivot position now, which is already sorted. Now left array is this array. That means left array will start from start, and the end index of the left array is boundary minus 1, right? Boundary, that's why we want boundary, that's why we return the boundary. So what is the left partition start index and end index? Start will be the start index and end will be the boundary minus 1. And what about right? The start index of the right partition will be the boundary plus 1, because boundary is now new, I mean the previous pivot, correct position of the previous pivot, which has been already sorted, so we don't need to worry about this. Cool. Now let's okay, sort left array. Now how do we sort? Just call the same method, recursion. Okay, we pass the array and we pass the start, and what will be the end now? End will be the boundary minus 1. Boundary minus 1. Cool. The same thing. Sort the right array now. So what is the parameter for right array? Now for right array, the start index will be boundary plus 1 and end will be the end. That's easy, it is. Cool. Now we call the recursion, we have already seen in last video. When we call the recursion, obviously we need to give some base condition or else it will go into the loop. So there should be one base condition. And what is that base condition? If start index is greater than or equal to the end index, then we have to return it. Let me explain that. We are dividing the array into the left partition and right partition, and we are now defining the start and end index, right? So this will be the start, this will be the end. So as long as we are going to partitioning the array, there will be the one step where this, let's say this is the right partition, the start and end. So this can be dividable. So this can be done. But at the next step, the start and end will be the only one index. So no need to uh, I mean sort array which has only one number, because that is already sorted. So that's why we have to put this condition, which is start is greater than or equal to end. So while greater than, because if there is an empty array, then this condition will be there, should be there, like start is greater than end. So start is greater than end, then we have to just return it. Cool. That's it. I mean, this is what the implementation is. And we just, what we did, we just follow our three step and we implemented this algorithm. Let's execute or let's verify our implementation. So we already have the main class to test the implementation, where we created instance of sort class and we are calling the methods. So last today we called merge, now call quick. Okay, now this is bad implementation, calling quick sort and passing these three argument like array, start and end. Ideally we should pass only array, right? So let's make some quick change, or we can say the artifact the code. Okay, we create another method, public void, I mean same method, maybe quick sort, and to this method we will pass only array, and from this we will call this method. Okay, so what is the start? Start is the 0, and what is the end? End is the length minus 1, I mean the last index. And let's make this method private, so from outside class it should not be visible. Cool. Now that's the cleaner implementation. So we are calling quicksort only with passing the array. So let's call it again. Oh, that's cool. Okay, now with this instance we are calling quicksort. This is the numbers in the array. Let's run it. Awesome. We got this array sorted 0011449. Let's test with two numbers. Cool. Let's test with duplicate number. Cool. Let's test with single number. Awesome. Let's test with empty array. Cool. So always remember, while you're interviewing with any other company and you're writing the code, make sure you write your unit test cases to test your code, so that will be a positive impression on interview. So that's it, guys. I mean, we implemented this algorithm successfully. If you still have any questions or you need some more understanding, please let me know through the comments. I will try to help you out. Please do subscribe the channel so you will get update of my next videos. Thank you. Thank you for watching.